Hey y'all, it's your girl Blair Ricard, and I would like to welcome you to my channel, which is Cooking with Blair Southern Soul for Cheat Day. So these recipes are straight from my grandmother's and mama's kitchen, and I'm here to share some of our Southern love and our Southern soul. So enjoy! Okay, so these are all of the seasonings that I use for the marinade. There's granulated onion, some seasonal, garlic powder, parsley, some peppercorn medley, curry powder, cayenne pepper, allspice. This is ground allspice, by the way. Worcestershire sauce, and some kitchen bouquet browning seasoning. And here is about 4 pounds of oxtails. So that's what we're having today. So you take that browning seasoning and you can pour that directly onto the meat. It's really up to you. This is what I prefer to do, but you're not going to put a whole lot because you don't want it to be too dark. But I'm going to add some Worcestershire sauce to that as well. So when you add this, it's about a tablespoon. You'll see that I don't really measure much. I just kind of case it by what I feel should go onto it. But anywho, that's the Worcestershire sauce. Here's the curry powder. This is a little spicy. I'm not sure if you use it much, but it does give a little kick to the meat and also to the gravy that's gonna come from that meat marinating. But it's a very good flavor. I love curry goat, curry chicken. It's thebomb.com. So here's the ground allspice. Some people don't use ground. They use different variations of it in their oxtails. I prefer this because it saturates pretty easily over the meat. This is my personal favorite peppercorn medley, even though sometimes this grinder gives me HE double hockey sticks, but we're not going to discuss that. I love the pepper anyway, so I'm using it. And I put probably, I would say about a teaspoon, because this is only 4 pounds and it gives it that little kick. This is one of my favorite ground garlic powders, or granulated, whatever you like to call it. I do not like that powdery garlic powder. I hate it. Oh my God, I hate it. But this one is a little sweet, just a tad bit, and it just dissolves so great. This is Morton Seasonal. I use this only in certain meals. You can see I had a little oops there, but anyway, I put a good bit on there because this meat is so rich. I mean, you can put salt on there sometimes and you will not get that flavor. But anyway, here's a granulated onion. And if you're wondering about the size of my canisters with some of these seasonings, I do get these from either Sam's or Costco, and they're pretty cheap, like $6 to $7 sometimes. This cayenne pepper, this is by Tones, so it's not that spicy at all. You can almost take this on your finger, like seriously. It's not spicy like most cayenne, so you can put a little more if you use that brand. And lastly is the parsley. So at this point, I take my meat and I mix it up really well. You can see the seasonings all on there. It's seasoned really well. It smells awesome. I am using my bare hands because this is for my family. This is not something I'm serving to the masses, but I am one of those germaphobes who, for whatever reason, is not a germaphobe when it comes to meat. I've never had any disease from doing this, but I wash my hands so much. It's insane. I bleach everything as well. But, you know, pray for me, y'all. I'll get better. So anyway, that's how it looks once you get to this point. And you can pretty much put this in a Ziploc bag overnight. Let that marinate, let that get deep into that meat. It also helps your meat tenderize. It also helps it, the cooking time, it shortens it a little bit. So this is a really great start. So moving on to the seasonings. I have already cut these. So these were in my freezer. I do not keep them in the freezer very long. I would say a couple of weeks tops because they can lose flavor. But this is carrots, onions, green bell pepper, and I've also on the side cut some garlic, so keep that in mind, and some green onions. This is my bae. Trader Joe's is bae, y'all. This is my favorite olive oil. I use it for almost everything because I really love the taste, and I love that it just does not burn. It is the most awesome olive oil I've ever had. But that's at Trader Joe's. Shout out to Trader Joe's. Hey, sponsor me, whatever, do what you need to do. Okay, so what you do is you just place that seasoning into that pot with that olive oil. You do not have to cook this a long time, because think about this, your oxtails are gonna cook anywhere from 2.5 to 3 hours, so your seasoning is gonna cook that entire time as well. Next is the tomato paste. You only need about 2 tablespoons. But if you're doing the 4 pounds, because I did add a little bit more of the oxtails at this point, and you'll see that my pot is going to switch a little bit because I did more later. But this is all you need, about 1 tablespoon if you're only doing 4 pounds. Hey, check out that matchbox back there, y'all. This is grandma's kitchen, so it is older than me. This kitchen has not been updated in centuries. But anyway, so look at that tomato paste. You want it to brown a bit, so you're gonna stir that around on like a medium heat. You do not want it to burn. This is a stock pot, so it will hold heat and it can burn pretty quickly. So if you're using a stock pot, be mindful of that. You do not want to burn your tomato paste. But I'm zooming in a little bit so you can kind of see what that looks like, and see the process of what that browning looks like, because you do want to cook that tomato paste just a little bit. You can opt for fresh tomatoes, it's completely up to you, but I do use tomato paste because it's it's a lot easier, it's richer, and it thickens that gravy much better than using the fresh tomatoes. But it's completely your choice. You can try different things. It's your kitchen, it's your world, baby. Hey, I try all kinds of things, and sometimes I screw it up. Hey, it is what it is. That's how we learn. Now at this point, I've already put the oxtails in, but these are raw. This is what they look like when they come out of that Ziploc bag. Notice they're already brown, but you still want to cook the meat for a little while, on each side. Make sure that they're kind of braised anyhow. And at this point, you can also add some red wine. So this is a very dry red wine. Hey y'all, it's cheap, don't judge me. But they said if you drink it, you can cook with it. And I drink anything, so it is what it is. I'm from South Louisiana, y'all. Hey, don't judge me. But anyhow, this is about 1/4 of a cup. You do not want to use too much because it can overpower your gravy, and you want to taste that goodness from your meat. You want that flavor from the oxtail, so don't put too much. But see, this is still a stock pot, but this is a larger one, and you can see that this is now more than 4 pounds. But still, this recipe I'm giving you, you can still use it with the 4 to 5 pounds. So I'm adding water. This is bottled water that I'm adding to the pot, and what you want to do with that is barely cover the meat, because oxtails, they are very fatty, and they will also produce a really good broth, and it's going to be a little thick because remember, you put that tomato paste, and you've also marinated this meat in some particular spices that's going to help create that gravy. So you don't really have to worry about thickening it. Some people will add a little bit of roux, which you can. That's pretty optional if you decide to do that. Do not put a gravy pack in here. I will come and hurt you if you put a gravy pack in here. Don't do that to this meat. This meat is too expensive and too good for you to do that. So don't do that. So that's what I do there. I add that water, and at this point I put some beef bouillon cubes. Now some people will choose to do a beef broth. That's completely fine. That's up to you, but I prefer to create my own broth. This is a cheap Italian seasoning. Don't do this, but you can. It'll work. I just make sure I cover the pot, but fresh thyme, fresh seasonings are always best. Always best. At this point, also throw in about 3 Bay leaves, if you have this much. If it's only 4 to 5 pounds, you only need about 1 or 2. Really 2 would be suffice. Bring it to a boil. And the last step is adding some brown sugar, baby. And this is fresh brown sugar that one of my clients gave me that is so good. And boom, there you have it. Cover that pot. And reduce to simmer. Let that cook for 2.5 to 3 hours. For more yummy content, please be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell.